All right, let's see. There we go. You guys hear me? Clear? All right, cool. Good. All right, so interesting day out there in the markets today. You had some big movement out there. You guys saw the CAD trade from a setup that we did from last night. Hopefully, you guys were all able to profit from that one. I hope so. That was a pretty good one, and not every day we get something like that. Um, oh, okay. Like, if you've never been in the military, when someone talks military time to you, you have no idea what they're talking about. My ex-wife was talking about what time we meet in the morning so I can grab the kids from her, and I'm like, huh? What do you mean? 080? What do you? Oh, you must mean 8 o'clock. Oh, yeah, it's so funny. I'm like, what? What are you talking about? All right. Hold on, let me get this thing. I have to send. All right, good. All right, so as you can see, what was the big mover today? Well, obviously we know that the dollar CAD moved around. We basically had 150, 50 down, 100 up, and then a little bit of a retracement, and it did push a little bit higher. Pound, obviously, pound dollar was a big mover as well. 88 on that one to the top side, some dollar weakness there, and then pound yen up 63. So again, not its full ATR, but again, not a horrible day. Aussie dollar is up 40, right, as you can see. And then euro pound down 51 for the day, meaning again more pound strength is stepping back into this pair, kind of getting it back to the kind of what I would call it more equilibrium where it's normally typically at. Um, but again, I think they I think they got finally figured out over in the UK. So I think this is all in the up and up, going in the right direction. Dollar yen down 26, nothing really big. And again, you can see over the last hour it's been up a bit more. So again, not quite as negative as it may potentially look over there. But looking at the day, some interesting moves here, right? I mean, look at first off with CAD, CPI came in, but again, 2.0, again, a little bit mixed with common, medium, and trim. They were basically way off on those. Then also we had the BOC statement, and that's really what shot the market just crazy. Again, between the 10 o'clock and the 11:15 press conference. Yeah, that's where the craziness happened, right? And then for the Aussie number, again, look at this. Over twice as much as what the expected employment change was, and the unemployment rate dropped again. Um, again, we're seeing these unemployment rates just come down all over the place. I don't know. It's funny. Like we talk about in the world, we have too many people, but you just see the unemployment rates coming down and down and down, no matter what country we're in. We keep seeing it. There's not many countries that the unemployment rate is rising. So, yeah, yeah, kind of interesting stuff with that. As far as the news today, you guys can actually see we actually have some red labor force numbers, which is not as bad, right? 2 days ago, all we were talking about was the virus. As I was joking around, the T virus that entered that has entered the world. But again, not so much in here. We got trade balances. We got some other stuff. Here we go. Brexit bill clears UK final parliamentary hurdle ahead of the July 31st exit. So again, we are now within 9 days of the actual exit, which is kind of a good thing. like like this. Will ECB spark big FX moves like the BOC did? Yeah. Um, yeah, so again, these are the top movers right now. EU will respond to additional U.S. tariffs with tariffs of its own. So again, I called this as well. I said, now that there is weakness in the water with with the euro, again, we will definitely go after, them for some more tariffs. Like I said, they're not as important. It's not like we buy tons and tons of goods there. I think it's more the other way around. In this case, it's not like, what we get from China, super, super cheap. But again, not surprised by that in the slightest bit, and that's probably why it's an orange move. And that's kind of it, right? I mean, USMCA should have meaningful impact on investment in China. Well, probably, yeah, that would make sense. And then again, the monetary policy report. Again, if you guys didn't read it and want to know why we had so much movement, click on this and give it a gander, give it a read. Not a bad thing to kind of get up to date on. All right. But for the most part, again, these are the type of days that we love. If you actually traded all day, I didn't trade it all day. I was happy with the CAD move in the morning, and then I had other stuff going on. Like I said, I'm trying to move the website over to a better location, and I had to start some of that program today. So yeah, I was bogged down in that. Tomorrow, again, tomorrow is kind of the other day that we're looking for. So again, I mentioned this earlier in the week. I was talking about the ECB talking on Thursday. Again, there's really, there's no refinancing rate change or anything like that. But the monetary policy statement and the press conference is what's going to be interesting because, again, you mentioned anything about easing or difficulty or Brexit is good or Brexit is bad. Those are the type of things that, we get some movement from, right? And again, typically, we don't see as much Europe, data come out of the, European Union. It's broken down by individual countries, but for the most part, it's not like the U.S. or even Australia, right? With the sheer volume of news releases, we don't necessarily see that. All right. Um, so again, that's 7:45 a.m. So again, it's before our normal hours in the morning to be trading. Again, I won't be around for that one. I'll be picking my kids up, unfortunately, or I'll be on the way back. Actually, I'll probably be in the car in the parking lot trying to figure out how to trade that one if it's a good move. But again, for the 8:31, I definitely will be back for that one. So I'll be hopefully looking for something there. And again, kind of the same setup. Every single day we talk about this. Whenever there's news, we're looking for price to be in a zone before the news release, and then boom, what do? We take it in Nadex, right? Get that limited risk factor in there. Go for some big explosions, which you absolutely, without a doubt, would have got today. 11 o'clock tomorrow, crude oil. Now, again, crude oil earlier in the week was orange, and now it is red. Okay, and what they're doing is the forecast is basically coming in almost flat, right? 0.1, 0.1 million barrels down. Yeah. So it's basically saying that there's going to be no difference. It's going to be exactly dead on, which I don't think it's ever. I mean, look at the history. I mean, we never see where it's dead on. It's typically one or the other. So I think that one is setting up for a miss tomorrow as well. That could give us a good play. And again, we will look at oil today. We will bring that one up and check that one out. Last but not least, we have New Zealand CPI. And again, CPI is always an important number because whenever you have that inflation in there, as I mentioned yesterday, again, that's where some sparks could fly. Because with inflation, and again, this is why we look at inflation, again, the consumer price index. The reason why it's important is because if this starts going crazy, that's where the talk of interest rates start to pop up, right? Whether it be lowering or, raising. And again, that's why they haven't necessarily raised rates here is because we don't have inflation. If we had the inflation, then the talk, the discussion would be a little bit of like, okay, how do we raise rates to curb inflation? Well, we're not seeing that yet, so that's why it's not coming up yet. Okay, and again, that's kind of the balance that they play back and forth. All right. So again, for New Zealand, again, I don't trade it too often, but when we do have setups, again, it's for something like this. Okay, so this is where we would be looking for some type of a setup tomorrow. And again, this is not something that we can trade in Nadex, but we can trade the same exact strategies inside of the forex realm. Again, just have to keep your risk low. Okay, got to make sure that you are protected. It's not like New Zealand's going to crank off 200 pips in a move. It just doesn't do that. But again, we still can find something a little bit ahead of time. Okay. My network keeps pausing the stream. This sucks. Yeah, if you're kind of on limited bandwidth, it doesn't work as well, unfortunately. Nothing we can do about that one. Tell those builders to build faster. And if they don't speak English, learn the other language and tell them to learn faster. Right? Yeah. All right, so that's what we kind of have going on. So looking at the scanner, all right, scanner is pretty interesting today. A lot of check marks, a lot of anchor breaks. Actually, I would say probably more anchor breaks than anything else. Looking across the board, I mean, starting off over in the majors, yeah, we have an uptrend set up in the pound. And again, we've had that pound strength. We've seen that pound strength. It was up 89 today, so definitely a big mover on that one, right? Dollar CAD sideways up confirmed. Okay, and again, that was down 50 and then up 100, and it's up even more than that now. I think it's up 130 or 140 at this point. No, it's probably up 100 and 123 or something like that is what I measured earlier. We'll check it out. But again, that one is up pretty big. It was pulling back, and then again, it was its impulse corrective move, pulled back, and then it again drove forward. Aussie dollar downtrend setup. Now this is reacting to the news that just happened about an hour and a half ago. So, that one will be out of play for a little bit. Again, playing any type of retracements on that one is what you guys should have been looking for. Dollar yen, again, anchor break to the downside from that uptrend. Okay, that'll be an interesting one to kind of look at. We've been talking about that. We've kind of, it's been way up the top. We wanted to see where it was going to go. Again, we're getting that official anchor break to the downside. New Zealand dollar, downtrend setup. So again, we do have a pullback, although on the 4 hour and the 1 hour, again, when you see this here, this 1 hour when you see just down consolidation inside of a pullback, it's kind of like, how's it pulling back if you have these two? It means it's definitely started to move. So this will probably switch over to a confirmed signal in a bit. All right. Euro dollar, sideways down consolidations. And again, this is where you're getting the down and then the up. So again, euro is just more or less flat at this point. And again, it's only moved 10 pips in 24 hours. So this one, again, we're not talking about a huge trend. Now, looking at the European basket, last night it was pretty like we had a bunch of these and a bunch of these. And now we have, again, Euro CAD. Again, we have the CAD news. No wonder it's an anchor break to the upside. Okay, that makes perfect sense. And again, you're seeing that in the 4 hour as well as the 1 hour. Euro Aussie uptrend setup, and again, you're seeing the pullback in the 4 hour, but you're not seeing it on the 1 hour. Euro Swiss sideways. Again, this is consolidation. Look at this on two different pairs. Still moving up, right? But again, it's consolidating. It's slowing down. Euro Pound is in a downtrend setup. Obviously, we saw this thing push down. And again, you're seeing on the lower time frames, what do you see? Again, a little bit of a pullback in those two. Okay. And again, that one is down 50 pips for today. But in the last 60 minutes, it's up 0.04. So it's actually it's low. It's not at its low for the day. All right. Looking at Euro New Zealand, consolidation, Euro dollar, consolidation again. Euro yen, sideways down confirmed, sideways down, and then down. So looks like Euro yen is still just kind of collapsing and pushing to the downside. We'll see if we can see where the bottom is or if we're getting close to a zone. Looking at the CAD basket. So the CAD basket, if it was weak, it's continued weakness, right? Sideways up confirmed. If it was strong, now it's weak. It's going back up again. You're seeing all the secondary pairs here are all bullish. All the first primary pairs, all bearish. So pretty clear that the news was not good necessarily for Canada, right? So that's pretty interesting. And again, 4 hour, you're seeing those confirmations as well. But again, a lot of blue here, only a little bit of red. And again, that's only because in the second two pieces. Now, in the Aussie, it's basically the same thing. You're seeing Aussie strength against everything except the dollar, right? That was bearish, and you're seeing a downtrend setup in that one. And you're seeing the pullback on the 4 hour as well as the 1 hour. And again, this is pretty consistent, right? Look at this. You're seeing straight confirmation on this one. And again, it was already moving up. I'm not surprised. This one, same thing. This is again, anchor break to the top two. And again, on the lower time frames, it's still pushing and confirmed and going higher. Again, New Zealand, anchor break up, although these two are showing down still. So again, that one is probably slowing and turning. And again, here's your pullback. You have the two blues on the bottom side of this one. All right, now looking at the pound basket. Obviously, pound saw some strength today. So what do we see? All the way across the board, all we see is blue here, right? We see no red at all. Everything is bullish. Sideways up confirmed. All these are in uptrend setup situations, right? On the 4 hour, we're seeing pullbacks in two of them. And again, three of these ones in the middle here, you're seeing that there are setups, right? I like this pound US. But again, these two make the most sense. The pound Aussie, the pound yen, uptrend setup. And then again, you're seeing the confirmed pullbacks on the 4 hour and 1 hour. So we'll see if there's an area that we can continue this trend to the upside on those pairs. Pound dollar will be interesting to look at, see where that one is at. Pound CAD is just consolidating. So we probably won't look at that one. All right. So like I said, this is the most. I mean, again, you see X here, X here, X here, X here, X here, X here. I mean, there's a bunch of X's. We don't typically get this many anchor breaks, which means we definitely had some movement. We had some anchors breaking all over the place today. So that's always a good thing because those are kind of instant signals in the opposite direction. All right. So let's go look at the charts. Now, some of the charts may be off. Some of the drawings are missing. I updated and put a new indicator in. We tried to make the zones a bit better to see if it would catch more. And again, when I brought it in there, it erases the other drawings, or some of the other drawings. So we're missing some of the drawings we had from yesterday, but we'll see how this does for kind of new grabs. That actually added a component to it. So let's go across and look at the charts. What do we got here? Get James to pay them visit. I feel like James knows some people. I feel like he definitely knows some people. So I think everything's back on here. Like I said, I was trying to get them and move them around a bit. There it goes. It's in the middle. It's like, wait a second, why is it not in the middle? Load those up again. All right, so looking at this one on the 4 hour. So you can see we had this drive down in the Aussie dollar. And again, you can see there's a bit of a pullback here, but we didn't quite get down. It actually turned, and where it turned looking to the left was kind of at the start here, but typically this is what happens when it needs to get some more force, right? Now, there's not a whole lot of great things. I mean, there's the little pullbacks, right? Little pullback, little pullback, little pullback, little pullback. None of them are really spectacular. I mean, each of the pullbacks is kind of touching the bottom of the prior pullback. This is the first time that we've actually seen a green, red, green kind of reversal pattern. It may be pulling up into this zone. That's about the clearest. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, the clearest area is really in this area right here.
This kind of drop, base drop. This little bit here, again, this gap down and kind of pulled right back up again. So not really tons on this one. Like I said, none of these are really, they're not really that great. I mean, like this one pulls back into this zone here. This pulled back into this zone. This pulled back into this zone. And again, I mean, you guys can see it. It's green, red, green, red, green, I'm sorry, red, green, red. Here we have the green, red, green. So that's the first time, and we actually have established a higher low and actually broken basically two levels, right? We're basically breaking the second level right now. So it's actually showing a trend reversal. So we're looking for a little bit higher of zone. So this zone is not bad. As you can see, it comes back and it's actually part of this base here, this drop sideways and base down. That's really what it's grabbing at the very, very top ends of that. This is just a little bit more aggressive on in this trade. And that's sitting on the 4 hour. So let's look to see on the 1 hour if we have anything a bit more clear. So we're pulling to this area, and again, this area was basically hit about 40% of the way through. Now, this is not the original area. If you go back, it was actually back here. Um, in our right area, I mean, like I said, it went about 50% of the way through, so you'd want to shrink this zone down to about that, right, is really what you should be looking for. The problem is this one has already left the area, pushed and gone. I don't think it's a 2-to-1, but let me see. Um, Yeah, we were almost 3-to-1 on that one. So again, this one did push back away, and you almost got the 3-to-1 out of this one. Again, you would not have lost any money on this one had you still traded this one. And like I said, you were probably at 2.5, 2.75 to 1 before this thing turned and flipped on us, even on the hourly. So, and again, you'd be out. Worst case scenario, break even trade. This is pushing through. I think it'll end up breaking this next time. I don't think this will continue to hold here. I don't think I'll take it off of this because, again, looking at the left, you can see that we have this pattern over here. So that's really where the zone would be. But again, what am I looking for? I'm looking for this old area of supply. I'm also looking at the basing. I'm looking for the pullback right here, the establishment of buying orders this far up into this move. Okay, so again, we can pop up, but there's orders sitting right here. So may not necessarily be the best time to take this one as a short. Now we'll see how. Oh, again, there was a bit of a. We are sitting at an intermediate area. Let's go and make sure I pop up again. Obviously, against it. As you can see, there is a bit of a zone here. Okay, it was not, we did not grab that one, but there would have been a zone. And you can see we ran right into the very top of the zone. So if you guys are looking to trade, this is not necessarily a bad one. Again, big pop, had some problems with it. And again, if we get, it starts a turn, this is a parabolic retracement setup here. As you can see, very small risk. The risk on this one is 8 pips. 8 pip risk, and again, this one technically on a full retrace, back down to here, you're talking about 50. So obviously over a 5-to-1 risk reward ratio trade, it makes sense. Zealand 1 hour chart. Okay. One is here, your 5-to-1 is right there. All right. So that's what we got for Aussie New Zealand. Let's look at Aussie Yen. So, so, where do we like to be before news? Inside of a zone. You guys can see we established this zone. It tested the zone here. This was a zone we had marked off last night for chart school. Again, looking at the time right here, you can see this is 7:30. It was right here when you purchase zone. The last time we touched this one was last night at about the same exact time. I think we were pretty close actually. As you can see right here, it says 21. So yeah, so we were right inside of this area. We bounced off of it, and that's what we talked about. Is this is a good zone. We popped out of it. We came back and retested the top again and tagged it again and again. News time, boom, right in Aussie Yen again. This was a pretty nice mover. This is about 45 pips. So had you guys been looking at this one in Nadex, that's not a bad mover on something a little bit on the smaller end, to take advantage of some price movement. So um, where are you right now with it? I mean, I think this one's going to retrace. Let's see if we can see something a little bit better as far as a clear turning area. Yeah, it ran into that. Didn't quite make it actually. Close, close. And again, yeah, there's an area of demand formed underneath of it. I love the way that it's formed. Again, with this red being a little bit lower than the green, the descending nature of this one. If this is the failure to go higher, though, and again, we got to find out where are the actual candles. Is it just going to be all? Yeah, that was probably a little bit better on that one. So this is the 15-minute. At least this one kind of shows us, looking across what it ran into. But again, single candle pop, right? Trace on this one, especially if this is where it's something along the lines of now we just don't have as much room to run this one back down. I was looking at. Again, did you hit your 3-to-1 based off the spike? Yeah, absolutely. We've already retraced it at least 3-to-1 back to the downside. Again, based off this. The reason why I kept dropping this down is because all we were seeing was wicks and we weren't really seeing anything clear, any type of bodies or candles. So what we had to do is we had to go to a lower time frame to make sure that we could see not only a wick but also a decent sized body. So it wasn't just the news spike up and down type situation. Again, that's what's going to happen. You run into a zone. You always saying the audio is cutting off. It shouldn't be. I mean, I can see the red bars and they're kind of halfway up. I can try moving it, but I don't know. Yeah, last night it was showing me that it was cutting out. Tonight it's not showing me that it is. So if it is cutting out, I'm not sure what's going on. But let me know if it keeps going. So again, yeah, so that's why we kept dropping this one down to a lower time frame, to see if we can get that 3-to-1. So we'll leave that one there. Aussie CAD, I'm not really surprised by this move at all. Again, you guys can see quite a large move. Now again, it is giving us a downtrend setup, but again, are we really in a downtrend setup? No. This was that's kind of what we had. We didn't even get back down all the way to the bottom, so the entry on this one would have been quite difficult. Again, we talked about this. We were rallying, and we wanted to get back down to this zone. We wanted to get back down to where were we looking? 89.19. And we just didn't get it. We got within 9 pips of our entry on this one. It just didn't. It didn't work. Unfortunately, we tried, but it didn't, and it left without us. So right now, again, we're looking. There's a couple different zones up in here. Nothing too great. Um, we'll see if we can get some good data out of get some good news. I think we can get a very very angled slope here. So I think LA, there's nothing really. 4 hour. I wouldn't use that zone. I would have been using this zone right here. This one just touched the bottom of that. So your zone should be based off of this. Oh, sorry, not that one. Off of this zone right here. That's the first time that we had anything real clear. That's kind of what we're looking for. Again, as far as targeting goes, again, there's nothing to stop it here. A little bit right there, right? and then this puts us before here. So again, this one looks like it's clear to a 5-1. Before we hit a zone, again, we can always use this zone as a continuation to the downside when we break below the base. But again, we want to make sure you're always out here, the candle behind the wall. And again, our 5-1 is sitting right in front of that. So not a bad little position in there to be able to take that. All right. And that's the Aussie CAD. And again, that is dialed down to the 1 hour if you're looking to put it on your screen. Aussie Swiss, kind of the same situation, right? We wanted to get a little bit lower. We were unable to do it, but it's sitting right there. I mean, it's super, super close. So, like I said, it's sitting right there. Unfortunately, this one was a no entry. We ended up missing it getting in. Let's see if we can find. This one's kind of running the same situation. This zone is not quite as high. Again, this one ends right here in this wick before it turned, right before this kind of large drop. This zone total is only about 5 pips. If you took the entire area, you're talking about 11. I mean, even if you decided to take this here, your 3-1 is still before the opposite side of it. So, you know, you may want to, let's see if we can drop it down a little bit lower. See if we So what I was looking to see is how like authentic this area was going to be. And looking to the left, it's kind of like, yeah, that's really part of this base here, this drop base and then drop again. But this over here is, again, a formation formed off of this level, right, which is literally just above it. So what I'd probably do is I'd probably this to there, and that way we encompass. Top down just a little bit, right along the lines in there. And again, what that'll do, and then I'll move this up, something along the lines in there. So what I'm doing is I'm encompassing this zone here, and I'm giving it a little bit extra. So it's a zone here at the bottom of the zone here. So it's a level on top of a level, and I'm going to take both of them because the risk in this trade is very small. I mean, we're only talking about 9 pips total in this one, and you're looking for a retracement back down kind of right here in the middle. Okay, now again, like I said, I'm not necessarily as interested in that zone. Okay, I'm going to go with the higher one. I mean, I can see the red bar for voice going up. I don't know. If anybody else can't hear me, let me know. But I can see the red bar moving. Hold on, I want to listen to myself. If you guys hear an echo now, it's because I'm trying to listen to the stream real quick. Yeah, I just heard myself speak, so it doesn't sound like it's cutting out because I was going through Twitch. I'm not sure. I think you need to get off your Mac, Ernest. You know Vanessa was typing it. Get off your Mac, Ernest. Where is everyone? Everyone is here. I think yours is broken. I don't know. I can hear it. Yeah, I can hear myself speak, guys. I don't know what you guys are doing. I don't know if Linda was saying his is gone too or his is not gone. I don't know which one he's saying. Anyway, I wait for this one to get a little bit higher, guys, and move from there. And then Aussie Singapore. This one popped, but it's kind of like, There's our pop. Looking to the left of this one, this zone not great, this zone not great, and then again too much of a wick. I'd be waiting for it to go all the way up. It's got to move about another 30 pips before, about 25 pips before we get up to there. Loud and clear. Yeah, let me go back to my Mac using an Android tablet. Hey, I have my Android phone right here, and I can. It looks like the sound is coming through just fine. Android sucks. Uh-oh, there's about to be a brawl in here. Ernest just is going to get triggered now. Yeah, it sucks, but it's the most used one in the world. That's okay. All right, so Aussie Singapore is not giving us anything that we really like. Let's look at CAD, and again, we already know what happened with Canadian pairs today. Again, Here's the Canadian yen. Check this one out. This is the 30 minutes, right? Here, we'll go back to the daily, right? We're getting high. There's your 4 hour, right? Look at this right here. Right there, pulled back up again and just collapsed, came to the floor. So again, we were talking about this before, having to get just a little bit higher. Here was the first one we were looking at. We talked about once we pushed through again, this pushed up and kind of went back and forth, and what we were doing is looking for figure out where we could get our entry into this area. And again, the daily was bad because of this candle right here, right? 4 hour. 4 hour, I think we were right above this, I think. And we were looking for something fast, news-based. Um, Back, it did hit his own. I like the dollar CAD better than this one, I think. Again, to the downside, you can kind of see where. CAD Swiss. I just put the indicator on, so all the drawings I had from last night are erased, unfortunately, when I update. But like I said, it does well with tops and bottoms, but you guys see this level of basing right here, okay? What we had here was this drop, sideways, and drop, and again, it was formed. Oh man, you guys can see that's what we ran into. Right, came up, and again, it was marked with a green candle that was higher. This was good, rallied right back up, and then boom, collapsed. Now again, wasn't necessarily surprised this one broke. Yeah, I wasn't surprised that one broke because of what we had going on here. So in this one, again, I'm looking for some type of level of basing. If we can get a green, red, green on this one, obviously not on the 4 hour, but on one of the smaller time frames, that's where we're looking for this one to start going long. And so far, we don't have it. We're still sitting inside of a downtrend setup, at least with the 1 hour and the 4 hour, but there's not really necessarily a clear zone to enter it. Looking at this one here, you can see even on the 30-minute, we have not started to form a green, red, green. We have not gotten the reversal confirmation yet. So again, we still have to be kind of sitting tight on the sidelines until we do get that confirmation. I don't think we have it from the 15, but no, we don't have it on the 15 yet. I've not gotten one. It keeps jumping now. Probably because I keep using the mouse wheel. But again, haven't even gotten a confirmation, but again, we will potentially. Just not set up there yet. Let's look at the Swiss. You guys can see where the Swiss did. Okay, it did bounce back a little bit, and then it's now red again. It's giving us that uptrend setup, but we came off of a zone. You guys can still marked up top. 5 to 1 was right there. It's super close on the daily, right? We did pull back a little bit, and then again, today was another red day for it. You guys can see here how close it really was. That's kind of what we're looking for, right? It is at a level of basing. It's holding right at that 1 to 3, kind of the bottom side of it. Again, that was a prior level, and what it is, it came back, it went through, pushed back up, and then that's where it got the oomph. So close to that 5 to 1. I do think this one will continue down. Like I said, kind of got a monkey wrench thrown in it today with CAD weakness, or of with weakness in the overall markets. Once it resumes, I think the yen will get strength and will continue to push back down again. I think this one will eventually hit that 1 to 5, but it's still in play for anybody still in it. Like I said, had you gotten into this one, I think Ernest was the last one holding it. I don't even know if he's still in at this point. He may be out. All right, look into the Euro pairs. Got a bunch of these. So look at this guy, Euro Aussie. Okay, again, this is the 30-minute. What happened here? Well, see, this is the news from today, right? Everybody says what happened. This happened. Okay, that happened. Again, it stopped where it was supposed to, right? We had a zone here. It came down. It blasted the zone. Question is, could we have timed this one correctly to grab it on the top side? Probably not.
just because I mean again, it was sitting in an area of supply, but finding a good zone in it would have been probably the issue. That one wasn't bad on the. Yeah, we would have taken that one. That one actually isn't horrible. Because again, we had a big pierce, but then we had less of a pierce, and then this one barely grazed the edge. So then when it came back up there right before news, this would have been one that you definitely had to kind of keep your eye on. Again, this one obviously moved well over a 3-to-1 risk to reward ratio. I'll click it just so you kind of see how far it actually, whoops, not that, how far it actually moved, right? There was your 5-to-1 all the way at the bottom. Again, I think we talked about this one last night, but again, here's where the target was, right? Right in front of. And actually, I'm positive. Like I said, all the drawings got erased, but I'm positive we talked about this one because I remember the 5-to-1 being just in front of where the start of this move was. So I'm positive we had this discussion last night, right? So here's where we are right now, and here's where we were last night. So yeah, so we were talking entry last night, and again, what did it do? It did pull away. It came back up, got right back to break even again, came lower, past your 3-to-1, then pulled back up again. And again, there was an entry here or an entry here, and then it crashed back down again. So yeah, so we did talk about this one last night. Had you gotten into this position here where we were, again, there was your 5-to-1. Again, it's over. Okay, so you hit your 3 here if you wanted to take it again, which, and again, this is a good question. Ryan will send me this question later if Ryan's not already on. He'll say, well, wait a second, this is the fourth time. Why would this work and why would you take this trade? Here's why. Okay, here, this one pierced to here. This one pierced lower. Okay, and you may say, well, I took the entry here. There's my 3-to-1, right? Here's my trade from chart school last night. Right? There was my chart school trade from last night. Bam, hit my 3-to-1. My drawing is not directly on. There. There was my entry from chart school. There's my 3-to-1. I'm good to go. Why would you take it again? Well, because this barely touched the zone, I mean, it barely grazed it and it got turned away again. Again, lower high, lower high, lower high. Okay. Which signifies to me that, hey, listen, if there were not buyers there, I'm sorry, if there were not sellers there, this price would have went higher. It didn't. It got driven down here. It ran out of steam here. So it was still a valid zone. It came back up. It touched it right before news, and then boom, shot all the way back down again. So you would have at least gone for the 3-to-1, but this is actually a kind of a double up type of position based off the wicks inside of that zone. All right. So again, there was a 2-for-1 on that one. So now, again, we're all the way at the bottom. We should be out. I would be flat this position. Okay, we're at the low here. Then we got a little bit of a buying area here, a little bit of buying area here, and then a little bit of buying area right below it formed in this zone and this zone. So there's not too much clean below where we're at. As you guys can see here, we're kind of getting into that range now. There's a lot in here, right? There's a lot to trip over, a lot to slow us down. If anything, what we're waiting this to do is, and actually I'd probably... There's probably a reversal trade sitting somewhere in this little area. Let me see if we've gotten a green, red, green yet. You guys can see all the, remember I said all the steps? Look at all this. One here, one here, one here. It's just all the way to the downside. I was hoping to see on the 30-minute if we were starting to get a level of basing. And again, it did pull back, but it's still sitting there. It's still trying to push down again. When we get a level of basing, there is a potential long trade in this position, which would also coincide with, I mean, again, if the ECB news tomorrow is negative whatsoever, guess where this one is going? Again, that'll be euro weakness, and it'll shoot straight back up again. And that's kind of what we're setting up to. But there's a lot of zones down here. I was trying to see if there was like a really, really good one, like something really good to grab. The answer is not really. This one is kind of, for the most part, this one has been kind of chopped up. I mean, this entry saved it a bit, but I like this one better. But that's quite a move. I guess it's 33 pips. We have 10 hours to do this, to go that far, and it needs to move 33. Yeah, it needs to move 34 pips to get down to that zone before the ECB release tomorrow. Um, so it could do it, but unfortunately, I think it's going to start slowing on overnight. I mean, obviously, the European Open tomorrow, that could definitely adjust us and get us down to where we need to be. I'd probably wait for that one, just to be on the safe side. Wait for it to come down into that area. Take that more to the long side. Like I said, these are both kind of red.
them up. I moved them too much. That was my fault. Anyway, you guys can kind of see what I'm talking about on this one. I'd wait for it to get a bit lower. This one. 160, 160.89. That's what we got for Euro Aussie. But again, it came down. Got close, but you would not have gotten an entry in this one. That's how close we were to that zone. And again, we knew it was a valid zone because of the touch here. How close we were. So we're unable to get this one. Again, this was not a Nadex tradable pair, but we missed entry in there. Again, I don't think there's anything. There's a little wick over wick right here. This is not a horrible zone. It did come back up and start retesting this zone here. But again, push down, drove up, push down. Again, you have a couple consecutive lower highs in here. This is probably not a bad zone, so you could potentially set up something along the lines of this, okay, to the downside. Again, we marked this one off last night as well. As you can see, this one is actually right below this basic level, or we did another one last night, but this is right below. So this target is not great. This target is absolutely great. No problems with this one whatsoever. And again, you could actually throw potentially even something more in here down inside of this zone down here at 144.92 as a potential another entry. I'm sorry, I say potential another exit to the downside. Because again, what else do we have? I mean, there's nothing in here. This is a parabolic move to the top side on the 4 hour. Didn't run into a clean zone, but again, we'll see if we can drive just a bit higher. Ideally, what I'd like to see is price to rally up, be very, very close to this zone by 7:45 tomorrow morning when we have the news release. That would be ideal. That news release is exactly what we're looking for, to be the catalyst to turn this thing and drive it all the way back down again. And that gives us about 61 pips to the first target. Um, you're looking for target 2 is about 100 pips away, and target 3 in this one about 137 pips. All right, so that's not bad for Aussie CAD. I'm sorry, not Aussie CAD, Euro CAD. Euro Swiss. No, we're still not there yet. Again, just too much basing. You guys can see where the zones are below. Again, this one spiked up and down on the daily and just it's flat. So no movement there for us. Euro pound. All right, so you can see we're downtrend setup in Euro pound. We are in a level here. Let me see. Seven right there. Something along those lines. Level on this one is at 84.45 to 84.50. So about 5-6 pips risk. Yeah, maybe add one little bit of buffer in there. to take that on that flip to the downside. And again, that's also playing into what we've seen on the other pairs. Is the potential euro weakness tomorrow? Uh, that coincides with what we see. Scanner looking at euro yen. Back, you can see euro yen kind of a big day down. We're sitting in kind of a little level basing, nothing super crazy. On 4 hour. Body's kind of like a like a fish skeleton, right? It's going to take a while to chop through that. I don't think we're going to be able to make that. And lowering on a lower time frame, you guys remember we talked about this. This candle was going to be really, really funky, but what did we do? We ended up news right in that same level. And what did it do? It turned right off of that level and then kind of turned back down again. So we're in the same level here where we ran into error, problems before. On Sunday, it gapped into this very zone and then kind of took off. And if you look to the left of that zone, we're still dealing with the same kind of pattern, right? Large, I would say large bodies, but large bodies with smaller wicks on the tops and bottom, but they're equal all the way up. So can you pull like a true area where there was a huge imbalance in here? Not really. It's just been a minor imbalance. It's not a big pop like this or something like this. It's just a very, very slow grinding through. So there's going to be order scattered all throughout there, and it's probably not going to be too big of a, a big move. And again, would I want to take this long from here? Probably not. Again, we are in a downtrend. I'd much rather grab it on a pullback and take it to the downside. We just don't have anything that's clean right now to be able to do it with. With this formation, there's nothing good in there. I mean, again, we are in a downtrend setup. We just can't find a good level here until we. Now we can go back, and we were right here last night. Okay, we haven't moved in 24 hours. So again, no trade setup on this Euro New Zealand, Euro dollar. Now Euro dollar on the scanner, I believe, was giving us a it was giving us a setup call, but now it's just sideways down, and then sideways up confirmed. So we are sitting in an area, right? Not a bad area. We got on the 4 hour here. A couple different retests on this one. Lower. True tested zone we have is down here. Okay. That's going to be down at 110.04. So again, where we are right now, we got quite a distance to go from there, but 110. Looking for like a big, again, a very pronounced turning point here, and there's not really one. I mean, you can see when you see all the down runs, right? Look to the left, you can see something there. Look to the left, you see why that did it. You look to the left, you see why that did it. Um, not a lot of super clean stuff on that one on the downside. Five on that one. If I'd look to set like some type of a limit order on this one. But what I'll probably do is I'll probably set an alert and I'll box this one in. So I'll set an alert up here when it gets close to the upper end of the range, and then set an alert down here at the bottom. And I'm going to kind of see what time these hit. One thing that we will see is obviously, the European Open is not at 7:45 in the morning. There will be an opinion with European traders of what's going to come out inside of that meeting. And because there's only the European Union tomorrow morning, what we'll see is basically they have unfettered access to move the euro dollar currency pair anywhere they want in the morning. Okay, so at 3 a.m. in the morning, when 3:30, you'll start to see this thing move. And ideally, what we'd like to see is we want to be up here or down here before news comes out. So it's kind of like if we're up here, we take the short. If we're down here, we take the long ahead of the news. And again, this is definitely a Nadex-based pair, so you can absolutely, without a doubt, trade this on Nadex. And again, we need, what do we got? 10 hours worth of movement to go. We need to be on top or bottom to get this one short. All right. Um, Now it totally was. I mean, I can see the red bar. It's showing me. I haven't seen it yet where there's no red bar. I mean, I will take a breath every so often, guys, and I will just think about something and not talk. Is that what you're hearing? I don't know. I, I think Ernest is just trolling me tonight. I think that's what it is. So that's what I'm doing. I'm setting alert top and bottom, and we'll see where that one goes. Um, Singapore. Let's see. What do we got with this guy? Surprised it didn't mark this zone off. This is a pretty good zone right here. Okay. Reason why that is a good zone is because, again, prices come back, touched it, and bounced off of it again. Its risk level on that one is only about, I'm going to change this to gray. Hold on. All right, not a bad zone again. It's coming. It's touched the very, very top side of that one. The total risk in this trade is about it's not that earnest guy. All right, so you guys can see on this one, looking at the 4 hour for the pound yen, we are in an uptrend setup, looking for some type of clean zone. Again, this is on the 4 hour and the daily. If we drop down to the hourly, let's see what we got over here. Again, it's not showing us that we're in a downtrend setup. It looks like it's showing us more of somewhat of a reversal. And again, this is off pound news, right? Again, large pop, pretty nice move up, right? 70, what, 80 pips in 2 bars, and then add the third one in there, we're about 104. Now it is retracing back to the downside. So in this one, again, we do have a demand area here. This would be obviously a target. Let's see, is there a zone above? Exactly what it hit. You guys see that? So what I did is I blocked the bottom of this thing right here. Again, this is one of those triangle formations, right? Lower, 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 lower wicks, form a level of basing, down, sideways, and drop, and you guys can see exactly what we bounced off of hourly. Um, Box it off. Whoops. Oh, that's quite a big distance. Profit target on this one would have been sitting right here. So your 3-to-1 risk reward ratio is good. 5-to-1 on this one would not be valid. You got two zones sitting in there from, in the way. I would not take the 5-to-1. The 3-to-1 entry if you guys got in. You would have had to ding that 144.60. Like I said, it's about 30 pips, but again, this is the pound yen, so that's not as surprising that it's that big. Let me box it off real quick and see if we could have refined that one even better. Problem is, I don't think we could have refined it. If we refined it, we would not have gotten entry in there. So pound CAD's an interesting situation. 4 hour. You guys can see we're sitting inside of a level. We did get a rally up, a little base, and a little push, and it's already been turned around on this one. So this zone is about 35 pips, 38 pips, the top side. This is a wick over wick. It's one that we marked off before. We said if price ever comes up, it is a pretty clean wick over wick, right? I mean, price dropped, they're equidistant. It dropped again, formed a level of base, has been unable to come back and test this area again. Some people say, why not here? Well, that's one, it's been tested a few times. Not a bad little place to get a short in here. So again, if you're looking to get into something and you like this pair and you're going to be up for a bit, again, you don't mind the level of risk. This one, the 1-to-3 isn't a good target, and the 1-to-5 is actually a very, very good target as well. Again, why is the 5-to-1 or 1-to-5 a good? Well, it's right before the profit target on this one would be right here at the top of the body of the red. 5-to-1 is before that. So again, this one is a valid is valid to the downside for both of those two. And again, being 4 hour, it's going to take a little bit more time for this one to unfold. Okay. You're drinking. I can't trust you. I'm on hotel Wi-Fi. He's good then, man. He's good. All right. Pound Singapore. Daily. What do we got on 4 hour? Let's see if there's anything approaching. Not a bad zone. Okay, that zone is sitting right here. It's about a 60 pip zone. No. Got here. 20. This is better. Yeah, unfortunately, this is going to be a no-go. Test that upper zone. So, yeah. So, no Singapore. Let's see the pound dollar. What do we got here? Yeah, it's first clean thing is up. First, there's a little bit of a net thing here. So, here's a zone. Not salmon. It's coral it is, even though that's not the right color. But somebody with OCD will get mad because these are not the two, even though they're super, super close. I don't like any of the bases here. I'd wait till this came up. Again, we've seen one spike up on the 4 hour. We've seen it hit and turn and flip to the downside. Let's see on the 1 hour if there's anything. 1 hour is showing us a little bit of a zone here. Not horrible. I mean, that's not too bad. Let's see. This one is about 17 pip risk. Again, it does go over the pop. It is a failure to go higher, so that could actually be a valid entry. This could be something that you're looking for in Nadex. Let's see. We got 85 pips to the downside, so we do have 4 strike prices. So even a daily is on the table for this one. Again, it has moved a little bit in our direction already. So again, you want to make sure that you get get a good strike. It has moved a bit. It's already moved a 1-to-1 for spot currency, so probably not the best idea to take it there, but again, is technically still valid for Natix trade. Your 1-to-3 is good. It actually is right before your risk to reward, or I'm sorry, your a little wick over wick, so a little bit of a speed bump, and your 1-to-5 down here is also in a good potential profit area. So this gives us some good ground here to cover. But again, I would take this in Natix because we already have moved. We've moved 18 pips, and we only had 17, 18 pips worth of risk in the trade. So we're already at a 1-to-1. There's no reason to take 36 pips risk on this one to make the final movement on it. It's already moved a bit to the downside. You could wait until it comes up again. If you guys wanted to wait for it to come back higher, you could absolutely do that as well. You could potentially set a limit order as well. If you guys know how to do that, set a limit order sitting right here. If price comes back up, then you want to sell. And then again, you would use this lower level of risk. And again, that wouldn't be a horrible trade as well. Collapse here or here. Again, probably see if I can get some good price. Pound Aussie. Yeah, Pound Aussie kind of came off this zone. This is a 1 hour. Again, you guys can see this one. Again, being in zones before news comes out is like the ideal situation, right? Now, again, whether you wanted to take this one in spot currency, I don't know. That's a whole separate story. Your risk level in this one was only about 15 pips, but again, remember the spread's going to get wider. You would have to add more, and this could have just as easily blown through the top side and try to take you for a ride too. So it doesn't give you the limited risk ability because it is Pound Aussie. It is a kind of an off pair, um, but not a bad run. Now, where we are now, very very important. Price has obviously pushed from his zone all the way back down again, but we are now in a level of basing. You guys see it right here? Here's where the first body occurs, where your profit target would be, but you can see right where we're at is actually the top of the basing level. If I block this off, you guys can see in this zone right here, we do definitely have an area of buyers, right? Price went up, came back again, came up, based, and then that was the catapult port, the launching point. So if you're in this one, I would think about getting out. I would not be ready to kind of roll over and take this one to the top side yet. Like I said, it's still pushing down. We'll see. Again, this spent 6-7 pips or 6-7 bars here, so it's not the A plus, prime cut there, but it's not horrible. Okay. Let's see on the 30-minute if we can get a little bit better. Yeah, you can kind of see it there. Yeah. There you go. That's taking this off the very, very bottom side. So you can see how close we are, even on the 30-minute, to an area of demand. So not the best place for us to be taking shorts in this one. All right. But again, if you are short, that could be your profit target, or you could potentially take it now just to be on the safe side. It is starting to run into some of the orders behind the wall. Okay. And that's pound Aussie. Pound Swiss, again, you guys can see that we ding the zone. Stuck right now. Potential profit targets on this one would still be not a bad zone before a zone on this nice zone, right? Round at the spacing level where we see again it's 3 candles, so there's definitely a turning point somewhere sitting in this area. Again, we got 3. It made some attempts. Um, yeah, your 3 to 1 is good. Your 5 to 1, not so much. So again, if you're in this position, make sure you have targets set. Again, if you want to go for a little bit more, you can potentially go for like a 4 to 1, which would be kind of right here in the middle, which is right in front of where the profit target should be. But again, I think on this one, a 3 to 1, safe. Get out of the trade instead of you know, don't put too much on the line if you don't have to. All right. So New Zealand, the Fiji water strong stuff. Hey, it may not be strong, but it's expensive. If you're in a hotel, that's quite you know quite. Oh, this is the one I'm looking for. All right, so New Zealand CAD, like many of the other Canadian pairs, obviously we had that weakness. It rallied up. This one is another situation where, I mean, the spread, it's saying that it's 1. The zone is only 12 and a half. Again, it's a similar thing that we've seen. Okay. There would be our 3 to 1. Again, your 3 to 1 is good. Your 5 to 1 is good. It's before the profit target. It's actually funny. It's drawing a zone at the closing demand zone. We are inside of a green candle, so it has pushed in once and pushed out at least 1 to 1. It's making another attempt. So this may be one of those ones where you want to get into it with an order breaking out of that downside, right? So you can kind of see it right there. Again, kind of a valid zone. What you can do is you can put an order and say, if we break this line, sell, right? Meaning, if it continues to go higher, you don't enter the trade. The only way you'll enter it is if it breaks this zone to the downside, and then it incorporates your risk. Again, you guys should know how to set one of those orders. I'm not going to go. Again, your 3 to 1 is still a valid entry right there, or a valid target. Your 5 to 1, again, you can see it is before the zone, so you wouldn't be too on this guy on that one. But yeah, the third, yeah, if it doesn't come back, it doesn't come back. Let's put it later. Let's see, New Zealand. Now, part of the reason why I'm doing these New Zealands and I'm marking things off is because we do have that New Zealand news tomorrow. Um, right here. The New Zealand 4:45 tomorrow, the CPI data. Okay. We don't have to worry about Nadex being closed because they don't use New Zealand. So again, we can trade it over here. So look at this one on an hourly. You can see this one is really kind of moving sideways back and forth. It's only got about a 15 pip range, so it's not anything tradable right now. Dropping it on the 4 hour. Yeah, so you can see what we're going in. I'd like to be here or here. So I want to be here, or I want to, oops, you know what, let's change this to yellow because that, I want to be there, or I want to be here for news. Okay, those are kind of one of the 2 areas. Right now, we're not in either of those two, so again, not much we can do with this one, at least on the 4 hour. There is no trend right now, but again, we need to be prepared for that one for news. New Zealand yen. Real clean zones on this one either until we get all the way down here. Quite a haul. The daily, you're probably out now with your 3 to 1. Yeah, you just hit your 3 to 1 risk reward ratio based off the daily. Again, failure to go higher. Nice little area. It spiked up and then has continued for 5. That one, had you been looking at, that hold much past this 5. know there's we know there's orders sitting right here. I wouldn't mess around with this one if you know past the 1 to 5. New Zealand didn't have much by itself. Let's see what the dollar has. Close. Keep looking at the torch myself. It's like so close. So close. Got front run. Pushing to the downside on the daily. 4 hour. Trying to see if there was anything in the row. Unfortunately, it doesn't. This. It didn't go as low. And a little bit of a gap from that. Take it down here at 109.50. Buyers coming into the market. At this point, I expect it to go all the way down there. We're at 109.64 right now, so I do expect it to come down. What are we talking? Like nothing. Talking about 8-9 pips. So I do expect this to come down again, and this is an hourly. We're talking about this, so doesn't look like we're gonna have too much tonight. I was really trying to find something to where we get a clean zone and fit in here, but I don't really necessarily love that one. We don't even have one at the top side. Trying to see. Man, I was really hoping we'd have like a nice little red, a little base, and a continue drop, but it's wiki, so not even a whole lot that's graded. Now we are putting in higher lows. You have a green, a red, and it looks like this green is going to pull higher. We have what 19 minutes and 54 seconds, or I'm sorry, 19 minutes and 45 seconds until this candle closes. Although it is green right now, that would be giving us a kind of a confirmation, right? We do have a confirmation turn. So I'm not going to step in and go long this one being an overnight right now, but again, I think this one is starting to turn, and I think it's dollar Swiss. Dollar Swiss got super, super close. We did not get our entry, unfortunately. Uh, Man, ugliness. This zone's gone. This is the first really true valid zone to the downside, and that zone is about 25 pips away. That's the best thing we got. And there's really nothing clean on the top side for this one either. So yeah, no overnight in the dollar Swiss, dollar CAD. You guys can see what we have going on here. Now again, we marked this one off. You guys can see there's plenty of entries on the bottom. This one pulled back down again. Again, this candle right here, where that's basically what told me that this candle was valid for an entry as well for the news. So we are running into areas cellular. So as much as this is kind of powered up today, we could potentially be looking for a flip and turn back to the downside. There's a lot of supply sitting right above this zone right here. You guys can see all this red, right? I don't know that this will hold. These are just all kind of retests back off of this area. Surprised that it didn't mark this area right here because quite a bit of movement. These are all kind of small. Wally World, 3 for $5 for the Fiji waters. Is it Fiji or is it Fuji? Or Foji? Foji. Is it an Fogi or Foji? Is it the knockoff? 3 for 5 is not actually bad. Out here they're like $3 a piece for one, and it's probably the little ones. Dollar Cat, I think we're set up for somewhat of a reversal. I don't really see a great level to bounce. A bunch of these like little tiny things, but not. That was on the 4 hour. 11. It's actually not bad. I guess I'm used to this one being a bit more. I guess it was not horrible. But like I said, it has pushed into the zone. So what I would do is I would take a number 3 entry. Let's see. I mean, we're about 3 pips in. Let's see. All right, so this is how I would adjust this one. I'd actually move my entry up a bit. Let's lower our risk on this one. And we'll drop it to about 6 pips. Nope, there. Drop it there. The reason why I did that, I'm not taking the actual red zone there, is because if you look back at this zone here, there's a gap. So instead of just taking those bodies, I'm going to take the entire red candle. It's only 6 pips, so it makes sense. It's got to be at least, that's, if I just take the small one, it's not enough percentage-wise, so I need to take the entire bit. That's what the turquoise line is for. So that's why I lowered the risk level over here. See, that's where the new entry, kind of like, this would be the level of risk. Okay, 7 pips risk. It has to come a little bit higher. Okay, if it hits that zone, then we'd be looking for. And again, this is one of those ones you could take on a daily basis. I do think we will probably tomorrow. Again, sorry with the oil news. Okay, that's dollar CAD. Or again, we're wedged. Nothing here. All right. So on a daily, you can see where oil is. Okay, we are sitting right now. There we go. It finally caught. We are sitting inside of a demand zone on the daily. Okay, which again is not really a bad spot to be in. Conventional wisdom says if we're sitting inside of a demand zone, we are definitely looking for this thing to go long. Dropping it down to a 4 hour, you can see that where the kind of refinement level is. Not a bad zone. Okay, if we put the zone here, again, this was the original zone. This one you may say, oh man, it went like 70% and that can't be good. But then you see this bit right here that barely even entered the zone. So down here at, where are we at? 55.40, it's showing us that we have a level of buyers. So again, if prices come down, that could be a great opportunity to get a NIDX contract, taking this to the top side. Ideally, we'd love to be here and have have this zone be in there, right before the news release. But I feel like we're kind of, I feel like we're a little bit close. Okay, and just when we're that close, it's kind of like, is it worth it? I mean, could it collapse through? Sure. I mean, it absolutely could. But um, just seeing the way that price pulled back to this area, was unable to break into this zone again, and the way that it took off out of that area, to me, that signifies that there's something, there's something nice in that area. Um, and for you futures traders, there's your 1 to 3, which is at an amazing. I mean, that's a great place. It's again a little bit of pullback there, but it's right where the actual wick starts above, so that's not bad. And even your 1 to 5 is not necessarily horrible. I'd like it. Ideally, it would be perfect. If it was like right here, but it's just a little bit higher. It's actually right at the bottom of the body of the green candle, which would also be marked off as an actual supply zone. So not actually a bad little trade setup. Now, if we rally, let's see, that would be on the 4 hour. Let's see if we can drop down. I'll just leave it. Go down to an hourly, see what we got here for an hourly. You guys can see here, look at that. It's right under the line, so that's actually not bad. Man, top side, there's not really a whole lot that screams out that, hey, listen, if price gets here, sell it. Uh, 4 hour zone. So yeah, I mean, you may want to set yourself an alert or find like an appropriate Nadex contract to get into. I don't mind this long tomorrow. Again, we may wake up and price may already be up over here and the move may already happen. So it's kind of one of those things. You want to take the risk before bed to throw it on, or do you want to wait till it actually gets down to the zone to be able to kind of take this one? What we don't want to see happen is we don't want to see it come down here and then all of a sudden do one of these things where it goes down and it lays on top of this area and just basically forms a red kind of. We don't want it to drop and then kind of sit here above the zone and then to enter it in. Because what that does is if it starts to chip go sideways and then chip into it, that is a formed level of supply. And that's kind of what we want to be very cautious with. So, kind of up to you guys. But like I said, I think, oops, not that one. I think right here, that nice little entry for oil going into news tomorrow. Okay. All right. So that is the last of the pairs as well as oil. I'm not going to do gold tonight. I didn't get a chance to really kind of analyze it today and look at it too much. I don't think I have much up here for it. I haven't put the template on there yet. Yeah, there's the template on there. Like I said, for me, at least on an hourly, we're kind of wedged between two. On a 4 hour, kind of the same thing. And daily, it's not sitting really in an area of demand or supply, so it's right in the middle. So really not too much to me. So yeah, so I think oil is probably the trade going into tomorrow. That's probably your best commodity setup, not necessarily gold. All right, so with that being said, guys, let's go across. Let's do our stream elements drawing tonight. 9 of you are in now. I think there's like 13 of you guys on or 12 of you on. The number changes back and forth sometimes. But another, I'll do it at 1:18:30. That gives us almost an entire minute to be able to go ahead and do the drawing for you guys to get your last minute. I know how you guys like to sniper it, get in there at the last little minute, and try to steal it that way. Maybe I'll mess with you guys and I'll throw one in on the trial one. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna try to snag it. Works. Helps when you spell ticket right. Seconds, 14, 13, 12. I'm gonna see how quick it is here. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh, it did go quick. All right, so it is fast. It is fast. And again, if it turns out to be Declan, then you guys obviously I will do a drawing again. But all right, so the winner of tonight's drawing is. Oh my God! Oh my God! Quick, somebody take a picture. Where's Ryan? Where's Ryan? Somebody take a picture. I'm doing the picture right now. Hold on, hold on. I'm gonna post it in so this way. Hold on. Here we go. There we go. Just so everybody sees this. Just so everybody sees it. If he was not on the Mac, he would be able to, he would have known he'd won. He hasn't said anything yet, so he's obviously not watching. He's fallen asleep. His Mac has crashed. His internet has gone out. Lindo with the victory. Party is over. He wins. He's like, I never win. I give up. I'm never going to win one of these. And he finally won one. So everybody, first night's described. Oh, is it really? Oh, because you have the KTS. I don't know. Maybe that's what it is. Well, you got double the pip chips tonight, so maybe that's what it is. I don't know. But I mean, you can see it. I mean, it's open to everybody. Everybody can win it. Pattern Traders won it 3 times, and he's not subscribed. He's won it 3 times in 2020, and he's not subscribed. I don't know. He's all rummed up. He's in Jamaica. If you're gonna get rummed up, that's the place to do it. All right, so let me make sure I actually give it to him, just so he can see it. Let's go to leaderboard. Where is he? He went through so many pip chips the other day. There we go. Here we go. Let's see. Let's give him his 25. Bam. There you go. Almost catching Pattern Trader. So there, you're good to go, man. Congratulations. There we go. James is like, yes. It's gonna be a party tonight, man. Man, I'm just gonna say right now, you might as well, you might as well get the bottle of water right now, drink the Advil, because someone's going partying tonight. I've yet to win in 2020. Well, it's only been like 50 days, and Pattern Trader's been owning it. Ernest has taken it 1. Vanessa won 2 days in a row. So I mean, yeah, there's some people putting down some victories this time. You know what? I bet you he won because I went in there with my ID and I messed up Ernest's thing. He had the algorithm set, but I went in there when I did it
it messed them up. So, all right, guys. With that being said, I'm gonna go rest my voice. Like I said, I'm this sinus thing or whatever I have going on that the baby handed to me. Like I said, I love my daughter, but man, I can stop. I gotta stop sharing food with her because she keeps passing back whatever this like head cold thing is. So, um, it's killing me. So I'm gonna go rest. I will catch you guys tomorrow. Good luck anybody that's trading in the morning. Again, I'm gonna see some big profits tomorrow with oil, guys. No excuses. I'm gonna see some oil profits in the morning, as well as let's make some money off the euro. All right. Take care, guys. I'll catch you later.